The Buffalo Bills go on the road to Arrowhead to take on Kansas City. This is a playoff game, people. The Buffalo Bills really need to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive because they're on life support right now. And they haven't played good anytime they've had to go on the road. Meanwhile, Kansas City, they've been limping over the last couple of weeks. They lost to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love was destroying this defense. Kansas City's defense was playing some really outstanding football, but they've been hit hard with the injury bug. Buffalo, they are the more talented team coming into this game. Their defense has played really well. The problem with Buffalo defensively is that they don't play good in the full quarter of games. We saw how they fell apart against Philadelphia, especially in overtime. And against Kansas City, the teams that have been able to beat them this season, they've all gotten outstanding play their final drives on defense. They've been able to keep Patrick Mahomes out of the end zone late in the fourth quarter. Can Buffalo be able to have that success late in this game if they got to come down to stop Patrick Mahomes from giving Kansas City the game-winning touchdown on the game-winning drive? Josh Allen, he's played great football this year. The problem with him is that it's been the turnovers that have killed him. But if he can take care of the football in this game, you feel really confident about the Bills' offense being able to move the football on this Kansas City defense. Buffalo's offensive line isn't the same offensive line that it has been in the past. They actually can hold their own against this Chiefs pass rush. My biggest concern for Kansas City is this freaking offense. Their offensive line isn't great. The Buffalo Bills got a really great defensive line, especially when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback. They got multiple guys on this D line that can get after the passer. Kansas City's wide receivers haven't been great. They don't have a consistent wideout that can be a go-to guy outside of Rashee Rice. Travis Kelce, he's on the decline. He's not an elite player anymore, in my opinion. He's a really good player, but he's not elite. He's not a player that you can look at anymore and say, oh, yeah, like, you got us. You're going to be able to give us 120-plus yards, 10-plus receptions, and 2 touchdowns. We haven't seen the superstar performances out of Travis Kelce this season that we've been accustomed to seeing out of him in the past. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are still there, and Isaiah Pacheco has been a monster this season for them. Buffalo just has so much going for them when it comes from a talent perspective. You got wide receivers that can separate. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. Let's not forget about Dalton Kincaid. You see, if Kansas City had the weapons that Buffalo has offensively, they still would be the best team in the NFL potentially. The Bills' defense is going to play a really big part in them being able to pull off this win potentially. You see, Kansas City doesn't have the offense that they've had in the past when they've been able to go up and down the field at will against Buffalo. You see, when the Bills played against Joe Burrow ate him up and spat him out. Kansas City doesn't have those weapons at wide receiver, and they've struggled to get big plays in the passing game. Buffalo's defense should be able to keep them in this game, and Kansas City's defense may give them a little bit of difficulty because Steve Spagnuolo is one of the top 5 defensive coordinators that we have in the league right now. But with the injuries that they have, especially with how talented the Bills are on offense, especially at wide receiver and skill position, plus you got Josh Allen, this seems like a game that Buffalo has everything on their side and able to pull off the win. But this also is Kansas City, and we know how hard it is to win an Arrowhead, especially in December. And one thing that we know about Kansas City is that you're not going to beat them badly where they're not going to have a chance to win this game at the end. You see, Buffalo, they got to be able to close out Kansas City. You cannot allow this game to come down to Patrick Mahomes getting a final possession because that's where you're going to lose. That's what has hurt Buffalo this season. They not only have beaten themselves like when they had all those turnovers against the Denver Broncos, but against Philadelphia, they should have won that game. But their defense played small. And that's been the situation way too often with Sean McDermott and this Bills defense. This Bills defense, they play well for 3 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, where they get asked to close out games, they haven't been able to do it. To beat Kansas City, you have to be able to close them out. Philadelphia was able to close them out. Even with them having some penalties that went against them, they still were able to get Mahomes off the field and they were able to win the game. Same thing with the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers have been doing this with injuries on that side of the football. If the Packers and the Eagles, who have defenses that are not as good as yours, can find a way to get Mahomes off the field to win this game, you should be able to do so also. And if the Bills defense can't find a way to get it done, that just goes to a bigger conversation that we got to have about why Sean McDermott has to go. And I'm taking the Buffalo Bills to get the win, though. You see, Kansas City, they're out of sorts right now, offensively. And Buffalo offensively should at least be able to score 24 points to win this game. It's going to be a struggle for Kansas City to get to at least 20 points in this game with how well Buffalo's defense has played. And hopefully, the Bills win this game with Josh Allen having the ball in his hands to win it instead of Patrick Mahomes. And I believe that this game will come down to that. But even then, I still think that the Bills defense, they've come up short in the past. But eventually, with how much talent they have on that side of football, even with the injuries that they've suffered, you trust them to be able to find a way to win this game and stop Patrick Mahomes. If Green Bay can do it, fuck it. The Bills should be able to do it too.